Well, listeners, we've got something very, very special on the show in just a moment. We are going to be playing the brand new track from Sydney pop punk trio Forever Ends Here. This is a brand new track that's out after a 5-year hiatus for the band. They're also about to head across Australia on a tour as well. So we thought, what better way to find out not only more about this amazing track, but also about this amazing tour that's coming up than to get one of the members on the phone today. Welcome to the program, Luke.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Now, mate, tell us a little bit about what's been going on with the band. Like we said, this is the first single in 5 years. Why was this the right time for the band to make a big entrance back into the Australian music scene?
So since the band split up in 2018, we all sort of went off and did other bits and pieces. Mav, which is our bass player, and I had another band on the side, sort of playing 80s synth pop. And then after a while, we just got to the point where we were like, it would be nice to just drag a couple of guitars back on stage and play pop punk. And we still had friends in the scene doing it, so we were always around and going to the shows. I think it was sort of an unspoken thing that we'd come back and do a one-off show here or there for a 10-year anniversary of an EP. But the more we spoke about it, the more it just seemed exciting to release music again and get back into it. We didn't know how much we'd miss it, I guess.
Was there that one moment that sparked that, or was that something that just kind of gradually grew over time?
There was a very wholesome moment in a spa pool. We actually we did a little trip away. The three of us and Aaron, who was our guitarist prior to the band splitting up, was sort of there and part of the discussion as well. And we went away to a farmhouse for a few nights to just sort of escape reception and have some drinks, play some board games. And we were sitting in the spa at about midnight one night, and it came up. We said, "Oh, remember this show we did? Remember this show?" And it ended up with us all sitting there going, "Let's do it again."
So what was that moment like when you first got back together and started to jam and to start to songwrite? Was that a very special moment for you?
It was. It happened. It happened gradually. I think what's very different to the way we're doing things now versus back then is we were so young when we started it that we didn't have home studio setups or anywhere where we could write individually. It was always get together in a rehearsal room. Whereas this time it was sort of, it was each of us individually sending parts and ideas to each other, and so it was sort of this gradual excitement coming together. But about 6 or 7 weeks ago now was when we jumped in a rehearsal room for our first rehearsal back, and that was really, really exciting. It was some of the songs sounded great, some of them sounded very average. We're sort of getting back into the groove of it, but it is a bit like riding a bike. I think once we had those first couple of hours out of the way, it just sort of felt natural and felt right again. We did it for so long that it's just sort of engraved into us, and it felt special.
Yeah, I don't mean to dwell on the past, but going back to 2018, you guys were so well received in the Australian music scene. You were doing tours with 5 Seconds of Summer, Simple Plan. Was it hard to walk away at that point?
It was bittersweet. We had, I think we sort of trapped ourselves in a corner. In hindsight, we made some choices, I guess, around the style of music we were playing that maybe didn't lend themselves to the long term. We had sort of started trying to take this route of going more radio pop, I guess. And don't get me wrong, I love radio pop. We started sort of creating that on the side with the new band after Forever Ends Here. But it wasn't what we did best. It was, we were a pop punk band through and through. And in changing that genre and shifting, and a few things started getting out of line. Towards the end of Forever Ends Here, something it felt off. And so while it was really hard to, I guess, say goodbye to it, we were equally as excited about, being able to build something new and, I guess, explore who we really wanted to be and give ourselves that time.
Now, this brand new single that we're about to play on our show, Cherry Chapstick, tell us a little bit about the track. What's it about, and what can people expect to hear on this track?
So, Cherry Chapstick, we wanted to give it that nostalgic feel. We wanted people to reminisce over old school Forever Ends Here vibes. So we knew that it had to be raw, it had to be guitar driven, it had to feel the essence of a 2015 Forever Ends Here song. It was in the writing for a long, long time. I had the chorus hook written probably 3 years ago for another project, and I spent a lot of time trying to make it work to that genre and trying to make it work to that project. And the whole time I was going, it needs a guitar driving it. So when we decided to rekindle Forever Ends Here, it felt like the right song to play around with. Lyrically, it's about the idea of sort of having someone that's playing you and I guess being ahead of the game and knowing that they're playing you and not being bothered by that and chasing the lust instead of the love, if you will.
And you've worked with some pretty big people on this as well. Rich produces it, but you also worked with James Paul Wisner, who's worked with Paramore as well. Tell us a little bit about that team that you've put together for this track.
Yeah, absolutely. So James is amazing. He's over in the States. He actually worked on the last Forever Ends Here song we did before splitting up. So he mixed our song called Feel It. So it had been 5 or 6 years since we'd worked with him, but since then he's just been absolutely killing the game. Our good friend Stevie Knight, who produces bands like Stand Atlantic and Yours Truly, he's been working with him the whole time and has always sworn by him and, wouldn't go to anyone else for mixing. So we got his contact details again and reached out. And yeah, fortunately he loved the track and it was a really nice collaborative effort. We sent back and forth a few little mixes, and having a home studio now, it was handy that, even from time to time I was able to jump in and add extra bits and pieces for him when he needed them.
Now, you've got the tour as well coming up. What can your fans expect to hear you guys play on that tour?
It's going to be very nostalgic. We are treating the tour not just as a reunion for us, but as a reunion for all the fans and friends who were there. We had such a nice little community going where everyone saw the same people at the shows, and I think they all built such a strong core memory around the songs that we were playing back then. So we're going to play most of those songs. I don't want to say all because we don't have 2.5 hours to play, but we're playing all the classics. There's some deep cuts in there that I don't think people will be expecting us to play. We'll be playing Cherry Chapstick, of course. We're going to sort of cover the range from when we started to where we are now.
And what are your plans going forward now? Like, is this single the first of the new music that we can expect to hear over the next couple of years? Is there another EP coming? Are you going to tour internationally? What's the plans going forward?
I think that's the exciting part, is it's really an open book at the moment. When we spoke about getting back together, it was, do we make this a permanent thing? Do we come back for a one-off? And where we sort of landed was, hey, let's not close any doors. Let's take it one step at a time and see where we feel like going next. We have decided that, we're really excited to keep making music. So Cherry Chapstick's been received really, really well, and we love making that genre. And we're stoked on how that turned out. So Cherry Chapstick is the first single. It is the only one we have produced currently. Our plan is to head out on this tour, really focus on that, and then once we get off the tour, we'll look at jumping back in the studio and making more music, and hopefully back on the road again next year.
Awesome. Well, Luke, we're going to play Cherry Chapstick on our show for the very first time right now. What would you like to say to all of our listeners out there, not only before they listen to this amazing track, but before they go out and grab tickets to the shows as well?
Well, first of all, thanks for listening, and I hope you love the song. I would say, what can I say to them? Let's say do some research on old Forever Ends Here shows. There's some really amazing videos that people posted on YouTube, and have a look at the vibe in the room and the amazing community that was built. We're really excited to get back to that, and it's going to feel very, very nostalgic. So, I hope you guys can come and be a part of it.
Awesome. Well, there you go, listeners. We are going to play Cherry Chapstick right now. Make sure you check out our website as well for all those tour dates and ticket information as well, closer to the time of the tour kicking off. But Luke, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. Absolute honour having you on the show, and can't wait to see you guys in Melbourne very, very soon.
No worries. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you at the show.